I think there's two or three things going on. The first of which is Mike Pompeo and his visit with Mohammed bin Salman and Netanyahu. That Pompeo and Netanyahu went to Saudi Arabia and had a, in quotation marks, secret meeting with bin Salman that everybody in the world knew about, uh, and that was intentional. And one of the goals, it seems, with this new kind of um, Israeli catering or charm offensive, whatever you want to call it, with the Emirates and with Saudi Arabia, is so that Israeli fighter jets will form a working relationship with Saudi fighter jets and then UAE fighter jets, and they'll form sort of this a seamless policy that is in unison, of course, with the United States, that kind of dictates all of this. And part of this, the interesting part of that, is you realize how really hostile the Arab monarchies are to the Arab people. They are the enemy of the working class Arab as much as Israel is their enemy and the United States. But the second thing that's going on is, if you Google this story, US has 36-hour mission of, the big huge bombers that were made famous during the Vietnam era. Um, they've only been slightly updated. Fly this 36-hour mission across Europe, down through the Persian Gulf, and there's a show of force. The headline is a show of force to deter Iran. And I'm thinking, deter Iran from what? Iran hasn't done anything. I mean, they invent these narratives. What has actually happened is a series of extraordinary provocations against Iran. They kill the nuclear scientist. They attack Soleimani and murder him. It's a constant source of what's the word I'm looking for? And it's a source of antagonism to Iran, that all of these things take place because there's a whole myriad of secondary provocations that one doesn't hear about. Cross-border clashes, and Israeli jets buzz the border region and make incursions, and on and on and on. Um, and most of those kind of provocations and sort of microaggressions are ignored by the press and the media. And then Iran makes a statement saying we don't accept the idea of Israeli assassins crossing into our country and murdering one of our scientists. And that's, oh wait, Iran's being aggressive and we must deter them. It's really comical for anybody who has followed Middle Eastern politics for any amount of time, because the provocations are on the side of the U.S. I mean, why did they fly these jets? Why? What's the reason? Iran hasn't done anything. Iran is the victim. They've been attacked. They had a citizen assassinated. They had a general assassinated. And yet, the U.S. claims they are deterring. And it's funny, the first sentence of the story in the AP or Reuters, I forget which, is quoting Frank McKenzie, the general, brigadier general, saying, this is a show of force by the U.S. so that everybody knows how powerful the United States military is. We don't seek war, but we are to blah, blah, blah. You don't seek war. And yet you're flying a mission of pure provocation, because that's exactly what you hope will happen. Iran has been extraordinarily restrained, very wisely restrained. I mean, these things, they know what these kind of provocations are. They know what Israel is doing. They know what the U.S. is doing. And of course, it's ratcheted up because Trump is a lame duck president. Mike Pompeo wants to get in everything he can possibly do because he's such a xenophobe and racist, and insane. He really is. It's not hyperbole. He's unhinged. Um, but he wants to get everything that he has wanted to do. He wants to squeeze into his remaining couple of months. And then of course he will be relieved of duty, and hopefully walk off into the sunset somewhere, never to be seen again. But I doubt that's probably going to happen. Um, anyway, but this sort of thing has gone on for 25, 30 years. I mean, if you can, it was happening in the early 90s. There were jets show of force because bombers flew around, or they sent the Seventh Fleet into the Persian Gulf, or the USS Nimitz was appearing on the horizon. The military doesn't have anything to do. They have a lot of money, and they have a lot of guns, and they have a lot of weapons, and they want to fight, they want to kill people, they want to use up those bombs so they can buy more bombs. um, that's the nature of U.S. imperialism. It's the nature of any imperialism. So they've got nothing better to do but then create war games, or um, fly provocative missions near the enemy du jour, which right now is Iran. And that's all this is. I mean, it's not probably going to come to anything.